Let's do this. We are live, baby. Let's do this thing. Let's keep on working. Let's keep on moving. Let's do this, baby. The name is Jose Trujillo, and I am the world's greatest living artist. Yep, baby. What's happening? Good morning. What's up? How's it going, Constance? What's up, Frankie? All right, let's do this. So I'm gonna start doing this is gonna be a little base with flowers. Let's see what it looks like. Look at that. Boom, baby. What's happening? ¿Qué onda, José Lima? ¿Qué aventuras? What's happening? Todavía sigue pintando, José. You still painting? Look at that. What's happening, Vivek? Good to see you. Let's do some flowers. Let's make this thing happen. Man, it's been a day today. It's been a fun one. Look at that. Boom, baby. So those of you who are subscribed, we are having if you haven't gotten that email, let me know and I'll send it again. We're having a Zoom call. What's happening? We're having a Zoom call tomorrow at 8 p.m. No, not at 8 p.m. Oh my God. At 5 p.m. We're having a Zoom call at 5 around artwork. That's what we're doing. We're going to be talking about oil painting and see what's up. Look at this. Boom, baby. Super Francois. Mucho bueno already. Yeah, I recorded the last one. The last one was recorded, but it was only the audio, and I haven't uploaded it yet. But we will be uploading it, even if it's just the audio. In my mind, I thought I had recorded video and everything, but it was just audio. It might just be audio that I'm recording. I have no idea why that's happening to me, to my beautiful little self, until I figure that part out. The other one was about marketing, and the audio was recorded, so I will be uploading that also before the month ends, so that you guys can have that as well. Look at this, uno impressioniste. What's happening, Bruston? What's happening, my friend Amundo? Look at this. Boom, baby. This is going molto bonito already. Hope you guys are having a good weekend or ready for the weekend. Nice, I love that. Yeah, my lives are like when is this going to happen? It happens randomly. The lives are random. I live my life pretty much like that. I'm pretty much about random events. So this is just an extension of how I normally carry myself throughout a day. It's pretty random. I don't plan much, and I think that's part of the reason why it's been a bit difficult for me. The scheduling with the classes, because I'm not a big planner. I just kind of do stuff. And my wife's like, dude, you gotta plan that. So I will. Catching the Easter bunny? Yeah. Yeah, I run stuff at random. I'm one with the chaos of the world, of the universe. That's a good way to put it, huh? I'm one with the chaos of the universe. The universe seems pretty chaotic. Well, should I be any different, huh? What's happening, Cheryl? Look at this. Boom. Pretty nice, huh? That's what I'm thinking too. What's happening? I love spontaneity too, but drives my wife crazy. Yeah, it drives my wife super crazy. She's like, dude, you gotta plan stuff. And I'm not into planning, you know. I'm just not. It takes extra effort for me to plan something. Which is one of the reasons I think why I'm so prolific with art. I don't plan it. I just start working on it when I feel like it. And I know this is very counterintuitive to a lot of the stuff that I teach, but I teach about showing up, but I don't necessarily teach about planning. I'm like, just show up, baby, show up hard. But I don't go like, oh my God, how can I plan this? How can I put? It seems almost for me like the more I plan, the worse it gets. It's almost like God's way of telling me to stop planning so much. That's my excuse, anyways. I don't know. It's worked for me so far to not. And of course, you know, there's things you need to plan, of course. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be planned. Extremely important to plan things, but for the most part, I don't plan anything. Nothing. The videos you already put on to have many jewels in them. Every video should be watched and not missed. Oh, I love that. That's an amazing gift. Thank you so much, my friend, for that gift. I think our wives would make great friends. I think so too. Is there ever a day you don't do art? Do you ever feel like not doing? Yeah, not for some days. It's usually for 1 or 2 days. From Virginia, what's happening, Van? Thank you so much. Thank you. How's it going, Alicia? Yeah, it doesn't happen to me for days. It happens to me like I'm like, I don't want to show up today, and I just don't. I mean, I'll work. I ask myself a question. Do I not want to work, or do I not want to paint? Because it's very different. That's a question worth asking. Is it that I don't want to work, or is it that I don't want to paint? And once I started listening to that, things started changing for me for the better. Because there's days I don't want to paint. It's very rare, but there is those days that I just don't want to paint. It's usually one day a week, and I'm like, I just don't feel like painting today. The rest of the time, I'm thrill painting. I love it. But there's days that I don't want to work. There's just days that I just don't feel like doing any work. And so I learned to listen to that. What's the difference between I don't want to paint and I don't want to work? I don't want to paint just means, it might even be that I don't want to paint with oils. Maybe I want to draw, or maybe I want to do something, some other medium. Maybe I want to do some acrylics, or you know. So I learned to listen to that, and then when I start doing other work, if I find out that I just really don't want to paint, then I just drop the brush and I'm like, okay, cool, you win. You win, baby Jesus. I'm not going to fight you. Okay? You win. I don't want to paint. And then I go on and do something else. I start doing something else. Doesn't matter what it is. I'll start working on marketing, or I start doing a video or something else. So I stay busy. You know, I stay busy. Except when I really just don't want to work. When I don't want to work, I don't stay busy. I stay busy watching Netflix. I'm like, baby, I want to watch some Netflix. It's stiff. Look at that. That looks good. Does it come natural, or experience, or classes? The painting, or what I just expressed about doing it when I feel like it? I must spend a lot of paint. I do spend a lot of paint. I'm gonna say what Monet said. Monet said, I don't know if I'm any good as an artist, but man, have I wasted paint. That's how I feel. I probably use more paint than any artist that I personally know. Yeah, my monthly budget is definitely in the thousands, with paint alone. Not even, I'm not talking about brushes or other supplies, just paint. I use a lot of paint. I think it's important. You got to use a lot of it. What's your favorite color? I don't have a favorite color. I go through moments where I'm like, I really like grays and all sorts of variations of grays. They drive me bananas. Like gray is the color that'll drive me bananas. I love it. And different variations of it. Like some of them are camel grays, red grays, green grays. You know, so I just go blue grays. Or gray blue, however you want to call it. I just go through it like, you know. Look at that. Mucho bueno. Yeah, Seafoam's definitely one of my favorite ones. Let's see, I have a question right here. Rustin says, how many pieces have you kept for yourself so far? Pieces that you haven't sell? My wife usually keeps those. I try to sell everything I make. I mean, I try to sell everything I make. I'm like, hey, you're gonna be sold, and you're gonna be sold, and you're gonna be sold. But my wife likes to keep, like, if something really grabs her attention, she'll keep it. She'll be like, you're not selling that one. Amigo, I'm keeping it. So she's the curator on that end. Which is it kind of, I mean, I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I don't know how else to express that, because I'm one of those artists who's like, I love my work, but I don't want to see my work hung. Like I'm not crazy about my work. I like other people's work. Like I love my work, don't get me wrong, but I don't need to see it. When I started early on in my career, I think a lot of artists love seeing their own work in like galleries or museums or something like that. But that went away for me after a while. I do remember what that feels like. And I know that lots of artists love seeing their work, and they hang it in their own studios or their own home, or and I know what that feels like, because I used to do that all the time when I was a younger artist. But I don't really, it's not, yeah, it doesn't move me anymore to like hang my work. I love other people's work, so I much rather hang someone else's work than my own in my own home. That's weird, huh? I feel like the plumber whose faucet's leaking. The plumber who has a leaking faucet that doesn't fix their own plumbing. You know, there's always one like that. There's always one that's like, he's a great plumber, but they have leaky faucets in their own home. That's how cool I am, but with art. Yeah, money in the bank. Huh? I don't want it on the walls. I want it in the bank. No, I'm just joking, man. Broston. You're exposing me, man. Look at that, baby. So this painting is sick. This painting is so good, it's sick. Yeah, baby. It's a real painting already. It's almost like it's never one thing. It's dynamic. It's never one thing. It's like you're weaving, like you're brushing. You're putting lots of paint, but then you're moving the paint around. It's a big old mess. And some people want to learn how to do this big old mess. And that's cool, you know? That's cool. I'll teach. Oh, thank you so much, Alicia. Appreciate that. Yeah, I feel the same way. I watch myself paint, and at the end I'm like, man, I'm good. Mucho macho today. I can feel it. I'm always so egocentric. Look at that. We had some 3D dimension and all kinds of crazy stuff on this thing. Which is my favorite art movement? That's a good question. I've gone through my seasons of art movements. But then I only really like a few artists in each movement. I would say probably Impressionism is my favorite one, just because I spent so much time in it. I think it's because of that. I spent so much time in it, like looking, learning about the artists, learning about their lives. And so it's the one I know most. I think it's the one I know most about. And so I would say Impressionism. Not post Impressionism. I don't really buy so much with Gauguin and Van Gogh and even Cézanne. I don't buy so much. I mean, I love their work, but I didn't get too much into it as much as I got when I was younger into Impressionism and like Gustave Caillebotte and all the other French guys. All the other French guys. Yeah, I don't know how else to put it. But then Baroque really took a number in my life. I love that. And I think I really enjoy Impressionism because I feel like it was the first true modern movement. To me, Impressionism is like what ignited the whole thing. And I know it's ancient, like today, like when we think about Impressionism, most people are like, oh my god, so derivative, you know, if you look into Impressionism for work. But at the same time, it's not true. Like if you some of my favorite artists today look back at Impressionism still, just because it was really the fulcrum point. It was when shit really just started bending, you know, and not in a bad way, not bending as in it's going down in a bad way, but it changed, you know, it changed, everything changed after Impressionism. We could even say that Romanticism started changing everything, especially in the Spanish and British movement. But I think Romanticism, it's a beast of its own. But I can look at Romanticism and be like, yeah, it's kind of a mixture of this, and that. You know, it's a little. It's got some Rococo, it's got some Baroque in there. It's got some Italian drawing, very Renaissance, post-Renaissance Italian drawing. A lot of that was happening in Romanticism. It's a piece of its own, but you can put it together, right, with different styles, and at least that's what I think. But Impressionism was like a slap in the face. I love that. Yeah, Impressionism was just a slap in the face to the entire institutions. I think Impressionism felt like how Braque and Picasso came up with like a completely, even Matisse, Braque and Picasso came up with a completely different way of expression. It must have felt like a slap in the face, you know. That's what I think. If I was an artist in those years, I probably would have wanted to be one of the people doing some of that noise, but I probably would have been one of the artists trying to look back. Yeah, it changed the game. Impressionism changed the game. It wasn't even a question. It was a slap in the face to society, to the norm, to everything, to the monarchy. You know, it was like, fuck the monarchy. It was a slap in the face. Impressionism was a super intense democratic movement, because they took galleries out of the power and took them back to the people. They took the exhibit out of the power, and so it was a super democratic movement. Not democratic as in like political party, but in the sense of the word. It was the first time we saw art functioning as in a democracy. Very first time. Just like now, yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is what's happening today with artists like Koss, like Banksy. They not only they took it outside of the institution again, and they give it to the people, to the streets, right? They put it in the streets. They put it in the murals, graffiti art. It's a beautiful thing. Wish I was more woke when that started happening, so that I would have been part of it. But I didn't. I was too stuck on Impressionism when I saw that happening, and so that's why I say it. I wish I would have been with the Impressionist movement, but I was probably one of those assholes. I was like, no, we must keep painting like Courbet. Had I been in that time period. I don't know, maybe not, who knows. We must keep this alone. And so that's why I think that's why it's so romantic, because it was a challenge. It even challenged the monarchy. It challenged everything. It challenged all the bullshit. And so it was revolutionary in that sense. It wasn't just the colors. It wasn't just the little brush strokes. It was more than that. It was a slap in the face. It was a slap in the face to all the oligarchy, to the oligarchs. I was doing graffiti in the mid '90s before I found out about art. Yeah, that's where it was at. I was friends with people that were doing it, but I wasn't in it. I was learning old styles. Right, I was learning about. I was learning how to do frescoes. I was learning how to do frescoes and fresco secos and how to paint and. Huh? Oh, let's go. You got time?
A las 4
Uh-huh. And so, yeah. I wish I would have been part of it, honestly. It's kind of like how I think about Diego Rivera also. Like, people today, they talk about Diego Rivera, and most people think about like the Frida movie, and they're like, oh, he was a horrible person. Diego Rivera was an amazing artist. Maybe he was a horrible person. I don't know. Definitely horrible to Frida, and probably a horrible person to love. Maybe he just didn't get the whole what do they call it? I forgot what it's called. When you just love one partner. Maybe he just didn't get that. He didn't get that memo. But Diego Rivera did the same thing. Because he was part of the group of the avant-gardes in France, you know, during the movement of the Braques and the Picassos, and even the some of the post-impressionists were still barking loud, and some of the post-impressionists, right, and the what are these other guys, the Fabists, right? They were still very loud. The Fabists and the post-impressionists, and so he's part of that group of young artists that were creating something new. Yeah, and yeah, that's a true statement. And he took that to Mexico, and people don't acknowledge that he single-handedly, and I say single-handedly because he was at the forefront of it. Of course, Siqueiros and Orozco and other guys were there, but he single-handedly democratized art in Mexico through the vehicle of murals. I'm like saying some real shit here. My son's like, I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm saying some serious shit here, and Daniel's like, I told you guys. I'm talking about like my feelings of Diego Rivera. So they didn't like him, right? They didn't like him when he was doing all his murals. He used to work 14, 16 hours a day. He was my type of artist. And they didn't like him doing those murals because, you know, for many reasons, he hadn't really discovered fully the idea of, not discovered, but in the sense of the word, not the reality of it, in his life, right? He hadn't discovered in his life communism yet, and he had no understanding yet, very basic understanding, and so, but that wasn't the reason why he wasn't well received or welcomed in Mexico because of that. The reason why is because the revolution had just ended, and so he was very modern. He was too modern for the powers that sat in Mexico's post-revolution years. He was way too modern for them. And so that was the real reason why Diego Rivera used to paint with a 45 on his waist, because they were always getting shot at while he was painting. That's how much they hated him. Again, right? Because he was bringing culture to the street. He was taking it away, taking it away from the oligarchy and the bureaucrats and all those shitheads, and taking it to the street, bringing it to the people. Imagine that. You're bringing culture, you're bringing education, because you know most people don't read. Most people didn't read back then. Still not today, but most people didn't read back then, especially back then. And to have the guts to take culture, pictorial education to the streets. Diego Rivera was a badass. It saddens me that people only see him through the lens of Frida. Diego Rivera was a fucking, as we say in Spanish, un patriarca del arte. Diego Rivera was a patriarca. He was a daddy. His contribution to culture and education in Mexico are immeasurable. He wasn't your average artist. Imagine taking he was like a Robin Hood artist. He took from the rich, and what the rich had was education and culture, right? keeping it to themselves, talking about it to themselves, and not allowing other people to have that conversation. And it's not like culture didn't exist. Of course it did, but it wasn't respected, right? The Mexican indigenous culture wasn't respected, and Diego Rivera put it on a pedestal. If you see his figures, most figures have indigenous features. For the same reason, he wanted to bring him, just like Caravaggio wanted to bring the people, the outcasts, and put him on pedestals. Diego Rivera did the same thing Caravaggio did with his figures. Yeah. Yeah, no, Diego Rivera got down like that. He's a hard dude. He kind of reminded me of Caravaggio, because Caravaggio, they said that Caravaggio used to paint with a sword on his waist, because he was always getting to fights and shit like that. He used to walk around with a sword on his waist, which is very, very unlikely for most people, unless you were a very wealthy person, kind of for show, or or you liked the nightlife. Yeah, Diego Rivera, everywhere he went with a 45 in his waist. For that reason, they used to do shootouts in front of the murals. They used to have shootouts. He's a bad dude. He was a bad hombre. My kind of bad. My kind of bad. Yeah, dude, you're going. My friends, I'm gonna have to let you go. I gotta go take care of some errands, but I'll be back. Let's see. Yeah, it was very dangerous for him. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in those years, the revolution had just taken over the country. The Revolutionary Party. Great info, man. I love art history. I saw a couple of Caravaggio documentaries. I'm a huge art fan. Yeah, Caravaggio was a badass. I love Caravaggio. Caravaggio used to punk people. He used to, anywhere he went, he used to punk people. He was a bully. All right, my friends, take care. I'll talk to you soon. Be well. I'll finish this painting later. I don't like finishing them later because I put a bit of oil and then it dries and then it causes all kinds of fun stuff. But anyways, I'm gonna have to finish it later. Take care, my friends. Peace.